It's here. Not a build guide, of course. I don't do build guides. This isn't a build guide, but it's the Martial Artist Ascendancy. Yay! I haven't watched this yet, so we're going to see what this is all about, and then maybe theorycraft how it could work with my new builds if they show off, hopefully, some more glove modifiers and the final 2 nodes, and clarify how hollow form works would be nice.
The dreamer showed me a path. But through discipline and training, I have forged my own.
In Return of the Ancients, we're adding the 3rd Ascendancy class for the Monk, the Martial.
I can't wait for this to just be like, hey, turns out all that shit you wanted to do, not gonna happen, and then I have to rethink my entire League start plans.
Artist. The martial artist took his training into his own hands and has spent decades mastering his proficiency of hollow techniques, building his body into the ultimate weapon. The monk may still walk the dreamer's path, but the martial artist redefines how, mostly by punching things very hard. Let's take a look at what he has.
I need to get a look at that.
Punching things.
They're not showing buffs or any of the UI or anything. It does look like a default 1 though. 2+2 for power charge. Higher level might be more.
Let's take a look at what he has to offer.
Because like that looks like it. Is that consuming power charges? Also, is this? Okay, it is.
Things very hard.
Yeah, so you already have charges here, and it's consuming them to give you 3.
Offer, starting with his exclusive skills. Hollow focus.
They changed it. They changed it. These bells used to have a much shorter duration. The bell appearing used to be, it was like 5-second duration, like 4.1 second between appearing, and the duration between appearing was a duration, not a cooldown, which it is now, and there was a limit to 1 active bell, so that's a massive buff to hollow focus. You can get way more bells, especially because you can still probably get stuff like overabundance, and now you can scale their appearance frequency without having to also lower the duration that they can just exist, which is very, very nice.
This rings a death knell for your foes. Ethereal bells constantly appear around you.
Also, hits against them are always critical hits. That's also really nice. It used to just be prime for stun can be called. Now it's stunned, cull, and always crit.
And hitting them causes them to shatter with a powerful shockwave. These bells can always be culled and are always prime for stun, so using them with Killing Palm and Staggering Palm is ultra useful. These bells are also always critically hit.
That's new.
Why does that last bit matter? Well,
does help for the resonance as well.
Thrives on critical hits. The final step for the bell-centric part of the
I don't think that's any different. Maybe the numbers, like attack damage and whatnot.
Which will ring out whenever you critically hit an enemy, delivering damage around you. Both of these bell skills are also quite good at stunning, which will come in handy later. If you prefer keeping your distance...
Here we go. 15% less damage was 20 originally. And I think everything else is the same by the looks of it. Yep, appears everything else is the same. Okay. But it does a little bit more damage than originally shown. Also, that is one of the palm skills they're showing off, probably Shattering Palm. Which is one of the ones I don't care to use personally.
You constantly spawn clones of yourself that attack with skills of your...
Also, this says any melee martial weapons. The bells, at least the second bell one, I already forgot, or rather didn't look at the first one. The second bell skill specifically said any non-talisman, but hollow form just says any melee. I believe talismans count as melee martial weapons. This is basically just excluding bows and crossbows. So you might be able to have like a fleet of wolves. Of course, there's a chance that talismans just don't count as melee, but I feel like if they didn't, it might say... Well, no, never mind. Because the bows, the other bells can just be used with bows, because those just just
You
say
can
any
also spend power
non-talisman, I
charges
believe.
to spawn triple the clones for maximum damage and maximum ruckus. And for the three
It looks
of you
really
who are
nice.
thinking, but what about shapeshifting?
Oh, well,
Enjoy.
turns out I could have just waited. I could have just waited 10 seconds. Also, they say...
And for the three of you
They said the three of you. I'm a third of the people that they're referencing in this video, apparently.
who are thinking, but what about shapeshifting? Enjoy your meditating wolf. Of course, the martial artist has plenty to offer besides new skills, such as taking pride
Runic Meridians, I
in his
think, is
Ezomon training
unchanged.
by tattooing runes into his flesh. Runic Meridians gives you 5 extra rune sockets to play with. Perfect for all the new runes you can find in the Runes of Elder League. If you want to focus on chaining
here we are.
together attacks,
When you gain combo, gain an additional combo, and minus 0.2 seconds to current energy shield recharge delay per combo expended when using skills, so you can constantly be building and spending combo, and constantly recharging your energy shield. I know energy shield recharge just got, like, massively nerfed, so this could help to counteract that a little bit.
Adept and Martial
And skills can build and retain combo regardless of weapon set. Gain combo from all attack hits. That second line is fucking crazy. Sorry, what? Gain combo from all attack hits? Like, I know they nerfed, is it Culmination? To only give you a max of 10 combo? Holy fuck. Okay, shit. Do I want that? Do I want that? Fuck, that seems crazy. The building and retaining combo regardless of weapon set is also really nice, because it means that you can have, like, your spender on a completely separate weapon that's all, like, and weapon set and skill tree. Like, you can have your skill tree, your weapon passives set for, like, hey, this one's all about cashing out your combo. Plus, since it's from all attack hits, you could cast, like, one thing that like, chains or has multiple projectiles, because that says all attack hits. So you could do one thing. I would not be surprised if before launch that gets changed to all melee attack hits, which would still be really good. But that feels kind of crazy. If you just have something that fires a bunch of like an attack that fires a bunch of projectiles that, like, chains or something like that, you could instantly build up to, like, your 10 max combo from Culmination 2. And then use your offhand or something. Like, you could just have a bow on your back, and the entire point of that bow is to generate a ton of combo with some ability that launches a bunch of arrows. That's just my first, like, random thought about that. That seems way too strong.
Master are tailor-made for you, generating massive amounts of combo to spend on things like these.
Yeah, okay, Culmination 2, yeah, there's... okay, that turns out, second time in this video, I should have just shut up and waited 10 seconds.
And protecting you while you do it. Remember how I mentioned being good at stunning might come in handy? Way of the Mountain covers you in a stony carapace when you immobilize.
Way of the Mountain... okay. They also nerfed the Way of the Mountain damage, so it's also just 15% more. It still just counteracts the hollow form, or if you're not using hollow form, it just gives you 15% instead of 20% more damage. And also, yeah, that makes sense. The hits that deal less than or equal to 30% of your maximum life deal 40% less damage. I believe that was 70% less damage in the pre this showcase, so I cannot say I'm surprised that that got changed.
Enemies. The stacks are easy come, easy go, but provide massive benefits, causing your attacks to deal a lot more damage, and reducing the damage you take from smaller hits to a tickle. Last, but certainly...
Okay, so what do we got here? So that physical damage is probably going to turn into damage extra fizz, but now, and the cold res is going to be cold res and max cold res, but now we get to see what life, percent evasion, and int do. Plus the fizz might be slightly different.
Let's put on some nice normal gloves and... wait.
Oh. So the life probably got turned into that less damage taken while on low life, which means that int just got turned into CDR. That 15% more global evasion rating and energy shield, I know why they did that. I know exactly why they did that. Because if they just made it more like local, well, first of all, it'd be worse because you don't get to keep the increased, but also because it gives you so much flat. Also, are they level 120? No, never mind. That's quality. I was like, how are they getting 360? That's because 20% quality. But it's unfortunate because that more global evasion energy shield is nice, but it doesn't work with Hollow Palm Technique unless Hollow Palm Technique is getting even more changes outside of patch notes, which specifically says increases, or rather evasion energy shield from your gear. So that's a little disappointing. I was hoping that would just turn into like massive buffs, but...
Wait, what the heck are these? Way of the Stonefist transforms any gloves you equip.
Yep, and now it says explicit instead of just prefix suffix, which means it should work with uniques, which is nice.
Fists of stone until you take them off. These gloves grant truckloads of evasion and energy shield, but more importantly, they transform the explicit modifiers on the gloves you equip, and yes, it works on everything.
Nice.
This...
Oh, let's see what those are.
And yes, it works on everything.
So we got armor. Oh, we get to see what plus melee turns into, what arcane surge and strength turns into. Oh, what is that? What turns into that? There's power charge on crit. Plus 1 level to all melee, which is a bit... It lowers it, but it gives you something else. But the getting a bunch of extra... I don't know what... Maybe armor turns into that? That might be. I just saw they're going to show off a unique as well. 3 fingers, but...
It works on everything. This...
But you can get increased area of effect, increased quality. I'm pretty sure that would be the armor that turns it into plus, like, additional plus evasion rating energy shield. So it might legitimately be a good idea to go for armor-based gloves to get a ton of evasion and energy shield. Okay.
That...
Okay. 3 fingers. The armor... Oh, weird. This time the armor got changed to global evasion energy shield. It might not be exactly. Hey, those gloves just give you Hollow Palm Technique. I just turned those gloves from Giant's Blood into Hollow Palm Technique. I don't think that's going to be too useful because you can only get it as martial artist, and Hollow Palm is like really close to the martial artist or to the monk starting place. But that's cool. Okay, this is one that I want to see. I want to see Facebreaker as well, but just Hand of Wisdom in action. Dex, int, and then attack speed per dex, and lightning damage per int. Which is percent dex, percent int, and then you get cold damage to attacks per dex, and increased AoE per int. That could be fun. That could be really fun. Honestly, decent chance I go for that over Facebreakers for like some sort of dex stack and something. Maybe even dex and int stacking, depending on what Facebreakers get turned into.
Needless to...
Okay. I don't know what all of these things are base, but I mean, look at that Thunderfist. Thunderfist could be a decent one just to have. You can get some onslaught on hit, some unarmed melee crit chance, and a bunch of flat cold to unarmed. That sign Aquo looks pretty good. Chance per enemy power to gain Mountain's Teaching on immobilizing. Mountain's Teaching, I believe, is any immobilize. But this just gives you an extra 26% chance per power to gain extra Mountain's Teaching, but also more importantly, you immobilize enemies at 50% buildup instead of 100. That's crazy. This Demon Stitcher, sacrifice 26% of maximum life to gain half that much as Runic Ward when you attack. That, you'd have to, I'm going to look at those rares in a second. You'd have to do some math on that to make sure it all works. But with that new chest piece that is constantly applying your life flask with a bunch of reduced effect, you could get a ton of life regen and just constantly be gaining that as ward, which would let you constantly be spending that for the new skills that cost ward. And then these rares as a you can rune forge them to get runic ward per level. A ton of leech, but you leech slower. Chance to poison is calculated from your base chance to inflict bleeding instead, so you can get a bunch of bleed and then convert it to poison. 5% recoup of life, mana, and energy shield, and increased gold is cool.
Say, there's a lot to discover about this one. So that's what the class can do, but how does it come together in practice?
Okay, what are they showing here?
We've
Whirling
got a couple
Assault,
of in-game builds to show
obviously.
you to demonstrate the might of the martial artist. First up, the snowbound executioner wields a big staff, bells, and a very well-toned body to ice out his foes. Shattering Palm and Herald of Ice mow down packs of enemies and continuously trigger the shockwaves of both our bell skills.
Actually seems kind of cool.
Because we're constantly freezing enemies, we're generating lots of Mountain's Teaching stacks to keep the damage flowing and protect us while clearing. And we're also taking...
Okay, let's look at these. Okay, you can get some pretty good rolls on those. The +4/+1. Extra damage is cold, chance to gain onslaught, bunch of crit, CDR. That's pretty good.
taking full advantage of Way of the Stonefist with this monstrous pair of gloves. Against tougher targets, we switch to Ice Strike and deploy even more bells per second with a Temper spell. Our cooldown reduction also allows Hollow Resonance to trigger as frequently as possible for even more damage.
That seems nice, won't lie.
If you'd rather a little more fisticuffs, we've got a banger of a Hollow Palm Technique build for you here. If you didn't know, Hollow Palm Technique is a keystone on the regular passive tree that turns your fists into weapons in their own right, so it's perfect for martial artists. This particular build uses Staggering Palm's avalanche of projectiles to power up its Whirling Assault, and also gets great use out of Way of the Mountain thanks to how much it stuns enemies. But the center...
They didn't show it. That build was about to fucking die. It was standing on top of like 4 on-death effects.
The piece of the build is Hollow Form, and the huge benefits it gets from power charges. While clearing, we can rely on Killing Palm's inbuilt power charge generation. But what to do about bosses? Well, we've made sure Killing Palm can handle those too. With Culmination and Aelith's Chimes providing a power...
Yeah, this is the combo that got nerfed. It's still pretty strong. You get 2 chance of 3 power charges, but it used to be twice as much possible combo, so it would take a little longer to scroll up, but then you got 5.
Charge engine, and Martial Adept cranking it into overdrive.
That's, again, yeah, still really
nice. When a
nice.
boss crosses your path, you can just do this. It is clear to see the martial artist is a well-disciplined powerhouse. So, which
I really
path
hope
will
that
you choose?
I don't have to use Whirling Assault on any of my builds.
Decide for yourself.
I say any of my
May
builds
29th,
on my
when
build.
Return of the Ancients launches. Thanks for...
Okay, very cool stuff. Obviously, there's still a ton that we need to know about Way of the Stonefist. We saw a bunch of the modifiers. Armor on one pair of gloves changed into extra flat evasion energy shield per level. On a different pair of gloves, turned into % more global evasion energy shield. % evasion rating. Actually, let me look at that real fast. I realize now that might have been, yeah, 3 fingers.
that.
Yeah, that was % armor. And the rare was flat armor. Okay, so it was the flat gets turned into flat. Okay, % gets turned into more %. I think flat, if you're going for hollow palm, flat armor, or maybe even flat evasion energy shield, I don't know, whatever ends up giving you the highest roll will probably be the best to go for. I'd imagine that the power charge on crit comes from the... I wish these were exactly 5 seconds apart. They're not. I'd imagine the arcane surge on crit turns into the power charge on crit. That could be very nice to end up generating power charges. The +2 to all melee skills, I wouldn't be surprised if that gets turned into the +1, but 10% quality, which, depending on what you're doing, might be worth the trade-off. I would think with Hollow Palm, it's probably not worth the trade-off. 10% quality is really nice, but with Hollow Palm, you're already not getting the plus levels from a quarterstaff. If you're using a quarterstaff, which yeah, I guess you would be if you were using a Hollow Palm skill. So that's something to consider. But like end game, I'm probably going to go quarterstaff until like a super end game, or depending on what way the Stonefist turns face breakers into, I might stay Hollow Palm, because I'm definitely going to use it for leveling. I think even with the slight changes, I think it's still going to be really good for leveling. So if face breakers turn into like dex scaling or something, then I might just stay empty-handed. But also, there's a decent chance. Just take Thunderfist. Wait a second. Hold on just a moment. How did I not notice that? They said that it wasn't going to be changing the abilities. They said that they were not going to be changing the abilities. But that right there is not what Thunderfist usually has. It's got Crackling Palm. So there's a decent chance that this is just like an almost upgraded Shattering Palm. And that could be something really nice to use. That's something to consider. And then obviously, Hoas are always going to be nice. If you're going like super into the dex stacking, dex and int probably combined, which could be nice. Could get you a bunch of AoE and then a bunch of flat cold damage. But 6 to 8 cold damage compared to this 44 to 66, so you'd need at least like 180 dexterity, which isn't too tough to get, I don't think, in order to outclass just the cold damage. But this gives you a bunch of extra crit as well, plus onslaught, but that gives you percent stats. I need to see what face breakers are. I need to see what Fist of Stone turn face breakers into, but I think I'm going to have to just wait a whole week for that. These also could be pretty good, just for a bunch of extra Way of the Mountain. I don't think I'd want them, but they could be good. I'm excited. They only showed off, from what I saw, I don't think they showed off, not Hollow Resonance, Hollow Form. That's using Shattering Palm, I believe. Okay. Which doesn't tell me anything, but can I see the Whirling Assault ones?
Constantly spawn clones of yourself that attack with skills of your choice.
Okay, can you show me the power charge ones? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that kills the Flicker Strike fantasy. I was fairly certain it wasn't going to work like that. But these images very clearly don't have power charges. So they aren't going to be consuming your power charges. And since they get lower, since Hollow Form gets lower attack speed, I don't think Flicker Strike would be worth it anyway.
all the clones for maximum damage and maximum ruckus.
I doubt it.
If you prefer keeping your distance from the fray, hollow form lets your astral projections do the dirty work for you.
I mean, just judging by the fact that they don't copy your power charges, I would think they wouldn't be able to directly generate you power charges either. There's still stuff you can do with it. If I'm going to use it, which I do want to, I'm going to have to think of a different attack to use. I almost said spell. A different attack to use, perhaps with the Hoas, like Ice Strike or something like that. Bounce around throughout the map with like a Shattering Palm or Killing Palm, and then Ice Strike. There's a potential, there's something to be said. Potentially, any melee martial weapon. So with face breakers, you go some mace skill, I don't know. I'm just looking at a PoEDB melee attack skills right now. Stuff that could be good. I realized something after saying that.
Possible for
that I just said this build. And I almost like pretended that I came up with this build. I was like, yeah, I could use like one of the palms while mapping and then use Hollow Form Ice Strike. I don't think this one
even more damage
was using Hollow Form
per second with a temper spell.
No, I was just using bells.
Cooldown reduction.
But still, I basically was just like, this build, yeah, that's mine now. It's a shame that they can't use its conditional skills, but that's very understandable, because otherwise you could just Hammer of the Gods. You could potentially Stampede. There's a lot of interesting stuff you can do. I'm very excited. That does kind of kill one of my ideas just a little bit. I'll have to see how Hollow Form interacts with certain other skills. Because it doesn't, I doubt it would be able to like do your like on hit and on kill effects. But if you used, say, Staggering Palm in Hollow Form, would you be able to get the projectiles from it still? Like if I used Hollow Form, Staggering Palm, would they start doing the projectiles? Like, would they grant me the buff, or would I have to somehow get the buff myself and then they would? I have no idea. I imagine if I had the buff, their skills would use the buff. But it's tough to tell. Kind of kills the Hollow Form. Maybe I go, because I mentioned in one of the other videos that I wanted to do kind of like the For Honor Shaolin, one of his executes. Has him like stand back, basically what Hollow Form is, stand back and just send out like a bunch of like illusions to like slap the enemy. So I kind of want to do that, but it's looking less and less like it is going to be viable to do it in that exact manner. I'm still thinking probably start with Staggering Palm. I think that'd be my league start. Start Staggering Palm as like my general skill. I need something else for bosses. Staggering Palm's not great against bosses. as it stands. I would need something else against bosses. Go either gloves or bell first ascendancy, depending on if I get a pair of face breakers. Or really any gloves that help with unarmed in the in the Fist of Stone form, but particularly face breakers. Slap those into the Fist of Stone. And then if they're good, yay, I'll go bells second. If they're not, I'll just have some gold, hopefully by that point, to respec it over to bells. And then if they're really, like, if face breakers are, like, incredibly bad, it might be like an end game Hoa or Thunder Fist of Stone thing, but I might not use them early at all. Staggering Palm big on the stun, plus the bells big on the stun. So I might go Way of the Mountain as well. That combo stuff is really nice, especially with, I forget what the support is called, but it's a support that makes it so you need 50% more combo to use your combo skills, but you can use them twice in a row. And Tempest Bells just got its limit increased, or well, is going to get its base limit increased to 3, I believe, is what the patch notes said. So now I can just use that support and be able to build up to 6 combo instead, but with the combo nodes that would be very easy. Plus that would give you insanely fast and consistent energy shield recharge, as I'd be gaining combo, slamming down bells. Lots of stuff to consider. It's really hard to tell without being able to get my hands on it. I'm very excited. A week away. That is 1 week. I can tell you the exact amount of time. As of when I'm recording this, I'm kind of stalling a little bit. It is 6 days, 21 hours, 3 minutes, and 15 seconds. I'm excited. I might put out like an actual video, like tomorrow maybe, about how that cull build is changing. And another one of the future days about my actual league start, which will probably be Staggering Palm. See you then.